Kim, there's footage being leaked. The queen of reality TV never wanted you to see these clips, I promise you. Now, who could forget footage from when Kim Kardashian told women in business they needed to get their ASS up and go to work? Well, no one, but Kim sure wishes it never got leaked and allegedly begged Variety magazine to not go forward with actually showing it. Now, the second this infamous interview got leaked, Kim faced immediate backlash and scrutiny. Kim, the daughter of famed lawyer Rob Kardashian and Hollywood socialite Kris, then Kardashian, now Jenner, obviously very much born into privilege and wealth, trying to tell everyday folk to get up and just work, clearly did not sit well with anyone. Now, the footage got spread like wildfire and Kim almost shut down her socials for a whole month because of it. At some point, she tried to kind of pedal back and say her recent comments about work ethic and finding success weren't meant to be a dig at women, but that they were just the reality of working hard to achieve your goals when everyone else doubts you. Kim says the whole thing was taken out of context, telling Robin Roberts on Good Morning America, "My message was to anyone who wants to be successful in building a business or brand, having come from that very specific space. Reality show or social media fame is to work hard. It's not easy. You don't just post something on social media and overnight you become a success." A source who was there for the interview tells Kim that, she made it clear her comment was not directed at women, but it was a part of her own personal experience, saying, "After 20 years at this, I'm still put in the box of famous for being famous. I heard someone say that to me when we did that interview, and that's why my demeanor and tone shifted." Now, despite the fact that Kim was born into a very wealthy, well-connected family and skyrocketed to fame thanks to reality TV and a certain tape, cough cough, she explained that she thought the problem with people in business was that no one wanted to work. Something about Kim Kardashian saying, "Get your bleeping behind up and work. It seems like nobody want to work these days. You have to surround yourself with people that want to work and have a good work environment while everyone loves what they do." That just didn't sit right in anyone's soul. So, and while it's true that you have to work really hard to reap the benefits, it's definitely not as simple as that for people who aren't born into wealth and fame. Kim faced backlash from viewers who called her out for ignoring her upbringing's role in her success and how many people do work hard but aren't fairly financially compensated. Now, despite this footage being a couple years old now, it's still being talked about. It's still a hot topic, and it's still something that haunts Kimmy to this day. Kim's designer debacle. Now, Kimmy sparked some irritation from fans when she posted a now deleted video showcasing free goods she received from Dolce & Gabbana to her Instagram stories way back in January of 2019. Now, followers were outraged by the post, many pointing out that the controversial brand, has come under fire multiple times over the years, most notably though for a 2015 interview with Italian magazine Panorama in which the designing duo Stefano Gabbana and Domenico Dolce referred to IVF babies as chemical offsprings and synthetic children. Really bad. And to know off that, Kim actually became pregnant with her second child, saying through IVF and her others as well. So yeah, it's kind of awkward. But people weren't pleased and very outraged, to put it lightly. Now, Dolce and Gabbana later apologized for this very inappropriate statement and said that they regretted it deeply, I'm sure. Kim Kardashian's Halloween costume had fans and onlookers saying, "Girl, what is you doing?" Now, Kimmy thought it would be a good idea to dress as Aaliyah for Halloween one year, and despite regretting, the decision, once the vids and pics got leaked, there was just no turning back. The costume specifically recreated the look from Aaliyah's Try Again music video, if you can remember that, which included a custom bra top and J brand leather pants. So of course, people criticized Kim's costume, arguing that it was insensitive and disrespectful to Aaliyah, who was an iconic black singer and a cultural phenomenon. Now, the social media mogul issued an apology after. Many Twitter users basically called her, Halloween costume offensive back in October of 2017. Kim actually wrote on her website, "Aaliyah was such an amazing singer and she will be forever, a music legend. I saw online that some people thought my costume was in poor taste and I am truly sorry if that offended anyone. We don't see color in my home. We were paying homage to people and artists we love and respect. It's that simple." Okay, Kimmy. Kim Kardashian shape-ups controversy is one for the books. Now, the breakup to shape-up commercial for Skechers Skechers that features Kim Kardashian, who tells her trainer she's basically leaving him because she's shape-upping instead, referencing Skechers Shape-Up's athletic footwear, caused the company to be sued to the gods by consumers. Now, she's seen saying goodbye to him, then complimenting another man wearing the same sneakers. Weird. The commercial, directed by Chris Applebaum, is a tongue-in-cheek take on a relationship breakup to promote the Skechers footwear. The commercial effectively links the Skechers Shape-Ups to a lifestyle change, potentially suggesting that the shoes will help viewers achieve their fitness goals, thus shape up. Skechers Inc. was forced to pay a whopping $40 million in refunds to customers in order to settle charges by the Federal Trade Commission that stated that the footwear company made unfounded claims about its shape-up shoes. Promoted through the use of Kim Kardashian, as a brand spokesperson, the shoes had promised to help people lose weight and strengthen their butt, leg, and stomach muscles, which obviously did not happen for consumers. Let's be honest, it didn't happen for Kim either. That's not how she got in shape. We know how she got her toned figure, for the most part at least. Now, the clunky shoes were supposed to tone, women's behind and thighs just from walking, but many customers were unhappy with the results, obviously. Now, the Better Business Bureau page featured dozens of complaints of back pain. Customers also said they didn't see the toning results that were promised. Now, after this huge debacle, Kim understandably was so embarrassed, to say the least, but also begged to have the commercials removed virtually everywhere, as she just didn't want anyone, including her own children, to have to see it one day. Well, fast forward, and unfortunately for Kim, the footage is alive and well, and although still cringe AF, she did poke fun at it in a TikTok video with her daughter Northwest. One of the stars, ads which showed her posing in a pink sports bra with a very controversial sneaker hovering beside her appeared on screen while a soundbite exclaimed, "Bro, if you got Skechers on, get out of my face." The clip then cuts to Kim and North sitting beside one another on a couch as they kind of mouth the remainder of the audio, which was just bizarre gibberish. Kim Kardashian and her sisters Khloe and Kourtney were slapped with a $5 million lawsuit over Get Fit Quick diet pills and supplements from Quick Trim. The pills, which are supposed to allow users to keep up with the Kardashians, and trim physiques, didn't work, of course, according to legal documents. Now, that's a shocker, right? 4 customers claimed the Kardashians, made false claims when reporting through tweets and commercials that they used the products in order to slim down. They were seeking $5 million in damages for the deceptive marketing, claiming that the diet pill's main ingredient, caffeine, is not recognized as a safe or effective weight loss product by the FDA. Quick Trim advertisements show the Kardashian clan in very skimpy bikinis, flaunting their fit bodies while promoting the pills. The plaintiffs, who live in New York, California, and Florida at the time, stated in their lawsuit that the claims made by Quick Trim and by the Kardashians marketing, it was false, misleading, and just, substantiated. Now, they added there was no competent and reliable scientific evidence supporting any of the claims. The lawsuit, which was filed by the law firm of Bursar and Fisher, had to be certified by a judge as a class action complaint before it could actually cover a wider field of consumers than the 4 plaintiffs. Now, Quick Trim products, which range basically from pills to powdered drink mixes, are designed to detoxify and clean the body by eliminating extra water weight and bloating, in large part because of the laxatives they include, according to the company. Now, the products are available nationwide at more than 25,000 retail chains, including Walmart, Walgreens, GNC, all those places. But many of Kim Kardashian's millions of Twitter fans tweeted at the time that, inspired by her, they were going to give it a try. Kim since hasn't promoted any weight loss pills for obvious reasons, of course. Now, she did, however, promote a Get Slim lollipop, which, had its own share of clapbacks and controversy. They never learn, do they? Kim was accused of styling her hair in a way that, came across pretty racist to many people. Kim has been accused of cultural appropriation at least 3 times in recent years, maybe more, after rebranding historic hairstyles. Now, the first time came in 2016 when she became obsessed with a look the family renamed boxer braids, but the hairstyle, which Kim actually was accused of taking, the credit for, was actually just cornrows, which is really famously known. Now, in 2018, she courted controversy again after renaming another hairstyle the Bo Derek. Culture experts told Allure magazine at the time they were actually Fulani braids and had been worn by black women for years, decades, centuries, even millennials. Now, Kim further sparked outrage again when she rocked braids for the MTV Movie and TV Awards. Twitter users actually fumed over the style being considered, very cool and stylish on Kim, but unkept and unprofessional on black women. Now, during an interview, Kim defended herself and claimed that she didn't see the backlash over her sporting braids in the past. She said, "I did that look because North said she wanted braids and asked if I would just do them with her." Khloe Kardashian is taking a lot of heat and she's not even in the kitchen. Nope, this backlash comes from a few feet away, her pantry. Khloe Kardashian has officially released her latest business venture, a protein popcorn brand, and posted a video tour of her massive pantry to promote it. However, it did not go over well. She posted a crib-style video of her pantry, which is the size of a car garage. I'm not exaggerating, guys. The pantry was formerly a garage before being converted into a pantry crib. As a small apartment renter, I stash my canned goods, chips, and protein bars wherever they'll fit. Honestly, I dream of the day I could have a stockpile as big as hers, but my love and admiration may be amongst the few that's actually happy for the reality star. Now, in honor of releasing her new Cloud protein popcorn, the reality star shared a pantry tour video on social media with bags of her popcorn filling the food pack space. Now, this isn't the first time she's shown off her extremely organized pantry to give her viewers inspiration for how to sort things. Still, this time around, she received a lot of backlash, as internet users said the video was ridiculous and just out of touch, given how expensive groceries are these days. Not only is her pantry massive, it's also stocked with the most eclectic assortment of foods. Now, there's an army of olives, apparently reserved for Kris Jenner's martinis, and a mind-boggling number of snacks, raisins, nuts, and all those, healthy things. She also had a very large bowl of fresh fruit and 2 walls, basically shelves stocked explicitly with bottles of high-end sparkling water. Now, at the start of her video, she says, "This is where all the magic happens." And yeah, I believe it. Honestly, the vibe is somewhere between a farmer's market and a Saks Fifth Avenue, which, to be fair, was her goal. Now, according to the video, Khloe wanted to recreate a mini grocery store inside her pantry, which, if we're being real, feels just a bit gluttonous. Now, fans think so too. Dozens of comments under her Instagram note that her pantry is a vulgar display of wealth and just excess upon excess upon excess. Now, many point out that there's no way she and her 2 kids can eat the amount of food stocked in the pantry before it expires. One person online said, "Pantry is amazing, however, why the need for all that food? People are starving all over our country, seems gluttonous." For many people, groceries are more expensive than ever, which is why watching, the Good American founder walk through her apartment-size loaded pantry upset many people, even if it wasn't supposed to be, this light-hearted video that her loyal fan base apparently requested. Now, when the video was uploaded to social media platforms like Instagram and YouTube, internet users of course flooded the comment section to let the personality know, that they were not pleased to see material like that from her. Now, another person wrote, "This is so over the top. Flaunting her wealth when people are literally starving and struggling to feed their families is just wrong." Someone else added, "So your pantry is bigger than my whole house?" Another person wrote, "I can't afford eggs and my fridge is empty." Internet users also went off on Khloe on other platforms like Reddit. One person wrote, "I hated this video. What's the point of this?" What do you guys think? Excessive or not enough? While Disick remains a staple of the Kardashian-Jenner family, he endured his ups and downs while dating Kourtney Kardashian for about 9 years. He and Kourtney share 3 children together and might be the best example of amicable co-parenting in Hollywood, but he wasn't without his troubles. Throughout their relationship and, even since their final split in 2015, Disick struggled with substance dependency issues, checking in and out of rehab facilities after excessive partying, and trauma stemming from his parents passing away, which only fueled his issues. Now, in May 2020, Disick checked into rehab once more to work on past traumas. He checked out days later after an employee at the rehab facility actually leaked his private information. He ultimately moved on with Sophia Richie, dating her for 3 years, but has since struck up a romance with Amelia Hamlin. Now, after his relationship with Kourtney Kardashian ended, he actually expressed the idea that everyone who dated dated a Kardashian was cursed. He went to visit a psychic to try and rid himself of the, Kardashian curse after becoming convinced that bad things happen to all the men who date anyone in the family. He took Kendall Jenner along to a tarot card reading where he was told to perform a ritual with a rooster to leave the curse behind. He told the psychic, "I feel like anybody that's dated any girls within her family has gotten some kind of curse. I feel like some curse has been put upon me, along with a lot of other men that I'm close with." The woman reading the cards told Scott that there was a lot of negative energy surrounding him and pointed out the devil card, which came up in the center. She explained, saying, "Definitely there's an energy that's been following you around and is inside everything you try to do. You have a tendency to have many obstacles in front of you. To answer your question, I would probably say you do have a curse." The psychic advised Scott to perform a ritual with a rooster, which would require him to dress in all white and set the rooster free before clearing his energy in a herbal bath. Desperate to get rid of the curse once and for all, Scott went rooster shopping with pal Benny and picked out his ritual bird. Kim Kardashian, however, was very dismissive of his quest and told her sister Kourtney, "I don't believe in that dumb thing. Scott is so ridiculous. He does weird things anyways, but this is on another level. I'm so annoyed he even thinks that this exists. There's no such thing. Of course, put the blame somewhere else. He never wants to take accountability for his own actions. He wants to always put the blame on someone else." Basically, defending his actions, Scott then said, "I just think a lot of people have come into this family and it hasn't been the easiest." Kourtney then added, "You blame your actions on something else, on somebody else. It's never just because you'll always have an excuse for everything." Well, curse or not, Scott has been doing better than ever lately, so I think it's fair to say he's either grown up and matured or the curse has been lifted. Lamar Odom. Khloe Kardashian and Lamar Odom's relationship and marriage was the stuff of fairy tales until it wasn't. After dating for only a month, the two tied the knot in 2009. Now, the former couple's romance was documented on Keeping Up with the Kardashians spin-off Khloe and Lamar, but like many reality TV curses, the show proved to be too much for the former NBA star. Khloe filed for divorce from Odom in 2013 after he suffered a public breakdown for a year, became attached to illicit substances, and cheated on her. Now, the two wouldn't finalize their divorce until 2016 as Odom suffered a near-fatal OD in a Nevada brothel in 2015, and Khloe chose to put the divorce on hold so Lamar could benefit from her health insurance and she could take care of him as he recovered. Although the marriage legally dissolved in 2016, Odom appeared to be holding on to some hope of, reconciliation, as he said in 2018 that he only realized the marriage was over when Khloe had moved on with other basketball players, such as James Harden and Tristan Thompson. And Odom tells BET's The Man Cave, "I still got my shorty's name still on me, her initials are still on me, but for no reason." You know what I'm saying? I understand when it's over, it's over. When she was with her second or third NBA ball player, I could see that. Khloe dated James Harden for a bit, but he ended it because he didn't really like all the drama and publicity it came with. But many people think he may have been scared of the curse happening to him too, so he called it quits. Khloe would then go on to be in an on-off relationship with Tristan Thompson, which was disastrous in many ways, to say the least, between him cheating on her like every week, getting another woman pregnant, and even making out with Kylie's BFF Jordan Woods. The whole thing was the hottest mess, and if anything, he cursed Khloe. She had 2 children with him though, and that's after knowing what a goof and a liar he was, so I don't know, she dug herself into that hole and laid in it, because the sense was just not sensing for me. The Kardashian curse came hard and strong for rapper Tyga, and TBH rightfully so, because what business did you have, sir, grooming and then dating a minor? Shake my head. This romance was likely doomed from the start. Kylie started dating Tyga after he had welcomed a child with Blac Chyna, Kim Kardashian's then best friend. Now, the spider web was messy to say the least, but that didn't stop these two from giving it a try. The two first met at Kendall Jenner's Sweet 16 bash when she was just 14 and he was 21, but they didn't officially start dating, at least in the public eye. He denied dating her for a while, until she was 17. When she turned 18, the rapper bought her a Ferrari. Kylie, who wasn't a billionaire yet but would go on to become one, had to endure embarrassing monetary foibles with Tyga, including the time in 2016 when a repo man took his Ferrari away for missing a couple of payments on his lease while Kylie actually shopped for a Bentley. Missing payments were a staple of Tyga's identity though. A former landlord debated taking him to court for more than $180,000 worth of back rent and damages to an abandoned business space, while a jeweler basically lawyered up after Tyga failed to pay him a cent for the $200,000 worth of merchandise he allegedly purchased back in 2013. Now, in August of 2016, Tyga settled for a $480,000 lawsuit with a former landlord over back rent, and it wasn't the first time though. Perhaps the financial insecurity proved too much for Kylie, who then split from Tyga for the last time in April 2017. Tyga has had to make more comebacks than arguably anybody in recent memory. The man seems to consistently be on an up and down down slope, either running uphill at full speed or tumbling down to an unlikely collapse. Of course, the notion of a Kardashian curse was brought up, which the rapper brushed off, telling Billboard, "Anybody that has doubted me, held me back, tried to block me behind the scenes, or spread negative energy or stories on me, whatever it is, whoever tried to curse me, it doesn't matter, the curse is broken." Kris Humphries, a 72-day marriage that will live in infamy. The former NBA player and Kim started dating in October 2010 and would get engaged only 7 months later. 3 months later, they married in an over-the-top $10 million televised ceremony. Perhaps they should have slowed down, as Kim filed for divorce fewer than 3 months later, which reportedly left Humphries feeling very bummed. The courtship appeared to be doomed from the start, from a fan's perspective, as Humphries didn't make a great impression on Keeping Up with the Kardashians, and following the divorce, the hatred only got worse. "I thought to myself, why exactly are they booing me though?" Humphries recalled that, saying in an essay for the Players Tribune in 2019, while writing about a particularly merciless booing during a game against Philadelphia. "Is it just because I'm that guy from TV? Do they think I was trying to be famous? Is it because they think I disrespected the game of basketball? That last one hurt me because it's all I've ever wanted to be known for was basketball." French Montana. Khloe started dating the rapper in 2014 amid her pending divorce from Lamar. She later admitted that she jumped into a relationship with him because she was feeling lonely and destructive after her marriage crumbled. She said on a 2014 episode of Kourtney and Khloe Take the Hamptons, "I jumped into something because I was just like lonely and destructive, but now I'm like, I just want to be alone. I gotta grieve," she added, saying, "I'm still married." The on-again, off-again relationship continued into 2016 when Page Six exclusively reported they were secretly still hooking up. I don't think he was affected by the curse, but people think time will prove that he has been. Travis Scott. Kylie and the Antidote rapper began dating in 2017, though much of the relationship was concealed because she went into hiding, fueling rumors that she was pregnant. Now, sources confirmed to Page Six in September of that year that the Kylie Cosmetics founder was expecting her first child with Scott, and she announced it in a very long 11-minute video that she had given birth to a baby girl in February of 2018. She later revealed they named their daughter Stormi. Now, in October of 2019, Kylie confirmed that she and Scott broke up, but they remained and still remain amicable co-parents. Now, the former couple often post about each other and their daughter on social media. In December, Kylie shared pictures of Stormi and her dad working his food and toy drive. Travis Scott has also addressed the Kardashian curse, though, and stated that he doesn't worry about it. He said he's been focused on his own life and career, and that he doesn't get involved in the other aspects of the Kardashian-Jenner family's lives. During Travis Scott's headline performance at the 2021 Astroworld Festival in Houston, a fatal crowd crush resulted in the passing of 10 people and hundreds of injuries, sparking investigations and lawsuits. Now, many believe this incident was a direct result of the Kardashian curse. Kanye West. After 6 years of marriage, Kim and Kanye got divorced. Now, the estranged pair began dating in 2012, married in 2014 after welcoming their first child, daughter Northwest, a year prior. They would go on to have 3 more children, but the marriage faced its troubles. Kim was robbed in Paris, and not long after, Kanye actually would be hospitalized for his first breakdown. Eventually, he revealed he was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, and his mental health issues would prove difficult for Kim and her family. As Kanye would go on to reveal, he wanted his wife to actually abort North, which obviously mortified Kim. Though an ex like Scott has remained close to the family, it doesn't seem like Kanye will follow the same path, as he's chosen to live in Wyoming full-time while Kim remains in LA with their children. And lately, they've been fighting more than ever with Kanye's insane Twitter rants and issues surrounding their daughter North. I don't think he's cursed, I think he's just crazy. Kim Kardashian is now contemplating a court request to strip ex-husband Kanye West of custody of their kids after new drama has unfolded, and fans are over it all. Kim is reportedly considering changing her custody agreement with West after he released a song featuring their eldest child, daughter Northwest, without her approval. Physical custody is reportedly not an issue, as the rapper rarely sees his kids, and Kardashian still wants them to have, a good relationship with their father. However, it's a different story when it comes to decision making for their kids. The former couple's divorce agreement reportedly states that they must attend a private hearing with a judge in the event there's a conflict regarding their children. However, after this weekend's debacle, it has become very clear that the rapper refuses to abide by the rules of their agreement. Kardashian requested an emergency hearing with their lawyers, a mediator, and a judge after learning West was planning to drop a song featuring their eldest daughter North and disgraced rapper Sean Diddy Combs. Now, although Kanye skipped the meeting, he reportedly agreed not to release the track titled "Lonely Roads Still Go to Sunshine." However, he went back on his word and dropped the song on X one day later, declaring that, men make the final decision. The rapper also shared a heated text exchange between himself and Kardashian, who made it very clear she did not not want their daughter involved with the jailed Bad Boys record mogul. Kanye seemed furious about Kardashian sending him a cease and desist letter and trademarking their daughter's name despite it allegedly being a decision they made together. He allegedly texted his ex-wife in the now since deleted upload, of course. The text said, "I'm never speaking with you again." However, Kardashian claimed they had agreed to trademark all of their kids' names when they were born so that no one else would take them. She replied saying, "I asked you at the time if I can trademark her name. You said yes. When she's 18, it goes to her. So stop. I sent paperwork over so she wouldn't be in the Diddy song to protect her." Kanye asked her to amend the legal papers or risk going to war. He also threatened her, adding, "And neither of us will recover from the public fallout. You're going to have to unalive me." So dramatic, I can't. Soon after, he went on a very lengthy ex-rant like usual, accusing the Kardashian mogul of restricting, his parenting abilities and comparing their current custody agreement to visitations in jail. Messy, problematic, and chaotic. Fans are done with this drama. It's above them now. The Kardashian family launched a debit card with ridiculously high fees. Back in 2010, the Kardashians launched the Kardashian card, a very short-lived prepaid debit card so that fans could live, a life of luxury similar to the family. It was issued by the University National Bank, which actually later changed their name to Sunrise Bank, and they are known to issue prepaid cards with insane fees though. So yearly fees, monthly fees, card purchase fees, card replacement fees, ATM withdrawal fees, even a fee to just check your balance at an ATM. Who would want this? Nobody. Unfortunately, well actually fortunately, because the card ended up having these insane fees, including a $100 per year membership fee, and for very obvious other reasons, the card did not do well, clearly. You don't say. Now, Forbes actually described it as one of the worst financial products ever introduced ever. The family seemed to have missed the memo that not everyone could afford those kinds of fees for a debit card, and the Connecticut Attorney General even accused the family of unfairly targeting financially unsophisticated young adults. It took less than like a month for the whole thing to get shut down, which would explain why it's likely you, me, everyone else has not heard of it till now. When Kendall denied allegations that her modeling career was handed to her in many interviews, it officially made people hate her and turn against the catwalker. There's no doubt that Kendall works hard as a model, but she raised some eyebrows when she shared conflicting statements about the origins of her modeling career. While Kendall said she did everything she was supposed to do to get her to her current position in the industry, there's no denying the fact that her family status played a very big role in propelling her to being, one of the most famous models in the world. In fact, elsewhere in an interview, Kendall explains that when she was 14, she presented a homemade modeling book to her mom, and then she did her, Kris Jenner momager thing and made it all just come to life. Jenner has, modeled for designers including Karl Lagerfeld, Fendi, Calvin Klein, Chanel, so many others. In 2018, Forbes actually named her the highest paid model in the world. Kylie Jenner said she was self-made despite coming from a really wealthy and famous family. In 2019, Kylie Jenner was named the world's youngest self-made billionaire by Forbes, but a lot of fans had an issue with that title. Not only did the financials end up being a little off, but many people thought self-made wasn't an accurate title for Kylie, who grew up with immense wealth and privilege. Fans shared that it probably wouldn't have been possible for Kylie to start her business on her own if she had not had the platform her family had provided. Kylie later responded to critics explaining that her parents, cut her off at a young age, so she had no financial assistance in starting her own business, blah, blah, blah. Kylie told Paper Magazine, my parents told me I needed to make my own money. It's time to learn how to save and spend your own money, stuff like that. What I'm trying to say is I did have a platform, but none of my money is inherited. Jenner has said that she credits her success to social media and her large following. Kinda true. She has said that she was able to advertise her products directly to her fans with little marketing expense. And just like her big sis Kendall, she has faced immense backlash for several reasons. Some honorable mentions include, lying about her net worth and exaggerating her role in building her cosmetic company. She's also been accused of cultural appropriation, just like her sisters, and of course she's faced a lot of criticism for promoting very unrealistic beauty standards and using Photoshop and editing tools on literally all of her photos and videos. Kim losing her diamond earring might have been in the first 5 moments fans started turning against the family. You know this one well, at least you should. Kim's then boyfriend Chris Humphries tossed her into the ocean, and her $75,000 earring was a casualty. The force of the throw caused a diamond earring, which was a part of of a larger necklace to actually come off and fall into the ocean. Kim had a significant emotional reaction to the loss, full-blown like breakdown, crying and expressing her distress over the missing earring. Kim and her sister Khloe frantically searched for the lost diamond, even joking about where it might be. The earring was never found, and the incident became a viral moment on Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Kim Kardashian's Aaliyah Halloween costume had her fans turning against her immediately. The costume specifically recreated the look from Aaliyah's Try Again music video, which included a custom bra top and J brand leather pants. Now, many criticized Kim's costume, arguing it was insensitive and disrespectful to Aaliyah, who was a black singer and a cultural icon. Now, the social media mogul issued an apology after many Twitter users at the time called her Aaliyah Halloween costume offensive, right, in October of 2017. Kim actually wrote on her website saying Aaliyah was such an amazing singer and she will forever be a music legend. I saw online that some people thought my costume was in poor taste, and I am truly sorry if that offended anyone. We don't see color in my home. We were paying homage to people and artists we love and respect. It's that simple. Kim's designer debacle. Kimmy sparked, a lot of irritation from fans when she posted a now deleted video showcasing free goods she received from Dolce & Gabbana to her Instagram stories back in January of 2019. Followers were outraged by the post, with many pointing out that the controversial brand has come under fire multiple times over the years, most notably for a 2015 interview with Italian magazine Panorama, in which designing duo Stefano Gabbana and Domenico Dolce referred to IVF babies as chemical offsprings and synthetic children. That's wild. And to note off of that, Kim actually became pregnant with her second child, Saint, through IVF. So yeah. Dolce later apologized for, his inappropriate words, but the damage was done. Now, footage from when Kim told women in business they needed to get their bleeping behind up and work has completely turned her fans off, like permanently. It's 100% easier to be successful when you're a Kardashian, but that seemed to have slipped Kim's mind when she dished out some advice to working women. Despite the fact that Kim was born into a very wealthy, well-connected family, skyrocketed to fame thanks to TV and that tape we won't talk about, she explained that she thought the problem with people in business was that no one wanted to work. Kim told Variety, "Get your bleeping behind up and work. It seems like nobody wants to work these days. You have to surround yourself with people that want to work and have a good work environment where everyone loves what they do." And while that is true, yes, you do have to work hard to reap benefits. It's definitely not as simple as that for people who aren't born into wealth and fame. Kim faced backlash from viewers, called her out for ignoring her upbringing's role in her success, and how many people do work hard but aren't even financially compensated for it. Now, despite this footage being a couple years old now, it still is being talked about today. I'm talking about it right now. It's still messy and people are still mad.
Number 10. Kim and Drake. Drake is a famous Canadian rap artist, and I've heard he's got a pretty stellar candy room in his mansion. Sounds pretty fun. Recently, Drake dropped a song called Search and Rescue, now available on Spotify. Halfway through the track, the music cuts out and a voice clip of Kim Kardashian and her mother Kris from an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians begins to play. The intention was to throw shade at Kanye West, whom Drake has had problems with in the past, but it only added fuel to the rumor fire surrounding his alleged affair with Kim during her marriage to Kanye. In the clip, Kim says, "I don't come this far just to not be happy. Remember that." On top of this, many fans have brought up Drake's lyrics from his song In My Feelings, claiming that Kiki is actually Kim herself. Hardcore internet sleuths sifted through his lyrics and discovered that if you take the directions that he's rapping about in the song and start at Drake's house in LA, it actually takes you directly to Kim's front gate. Coincidence? I think not. Number 9. Kendall and Bad Bunny. Not long ago, Kendall Jenner was dating a basketball player from the Phoenix Suns named Devin Booker. Devin and Kendall were together for over 2 years, first getting together in 2020. However, in 2022, the couple had a quiet breakup that left fans wondering what really happened to end what seemed to be such a strong relationship. Well, it turns out there may have been another man. Or a bunny, if you will. I'm just gonna show myself out. Jeez. Bad Bunny is a popular rapper, singer, songwriter, and now actor, after briefly starring in last year's action comedy Bullet Train as the Wolf. In March of this year, Bunny seemingly dissed Kendall's ex, Booker, in his track Coco Chanel. He rapped, "The sun in Puerto Rico is hotter than in Phoenix." And a few weeks following the song's release, Kendall introduced Bunny to her horse, Arizona, in California. Oh, that's so cute, you named it Arizona. The couple are officially together. Let's see how long this one lasts. Number 8. Devin Booker and Kendall Jenner. Jenner and Booker were first spotted together on a double date with other people. At the time, Booker was dating Kylie's best friend, Jordan Woods, and Jenner was dating Ben Simmons. In February of 2019, it was revealed that Booker and Woods' relationship had fizzled out, but not long after the announcement, Woods was caught kissing Khloe Kardashian's boo, Tristan Thompson. Yeah, this is just gonna be very messy. Kardashian and Thompson split, and with that, Kylie's friendship with Woods was gone. But what that meant was that Kendall and Devin were free to do whatever they wanted. It was confirmed they were seeing each other after multiple sources caught them road tripping together over the summer of 2020. They were together for roughly 2 years before calling it quits in 2022, taking a break to figure out if their future together was actually meant to be. They got back together, but ultimately ended things on good terms in November of that same year. Number 7. Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet. Timothée Chalamet is slowly building his acting repertoire in Hollywood, and so far it's going pretty well. He starred as the lead in Dune, and he was recently announced to be playing a young Willy Wonka in a TV series chronicling Wonka's rise to glory. It was also recently announced that he was seeing Kylie Jenner like every week. While the announcement of them being a couple is a little out of nowhere, the fact is that Kylie has been co-parenting her 2 kids with Travis Scott, and Travis did not appreciate the secrecy. He said that he felt blindsided by the announcement, but he respects her decision to move on romantically. This relationship isn't all that recent, however, it was reported that the two may have shared a private moment or two during her marriage to Scott. Neither party have confirmed nor denied the rumors, but just seeing these two in a picture together makes us think that there is no way this relationship is that fresh, right? Number 6. Kim Kardashian and Pete Davidson. Pete Davidson was the youngest cast member on Saturday Night Live when he was hired at the age of 20. He was the youngest cast member of all time. In 2021, Kim Kardashian hosted an episode of the show and starred in a sketch with Pete, parodying A Whole New World from the Disney film Aladdin. The sketch was okay, but apparently sitting that close to each other all week really got them going. At the time, Kim was still involved with rapper Kanye West, who actually attended the live show, but apparently stormed out of the room following her scene with Pete. Apparently, Kanye had been present at rehearsals all week, and he remembers regularly seeing Pete and Kim smiling and laughing together while he was being ignored entirely. Kim and Kanye began their divorce process not long after that show, and simultaneously, Pete announced that him and Kim were official. They were only together for about a year, but it was enough time for Pete to get close to her family and even get a tattoo of her kid's name on his arm, which sounds hardcore, but he has like a million tattoos, so it's probably jammed between like a skull and an MGK portrait. Who knows? Number 5. Kourtney Kardashian and Travis Barker. Travis Barker is the drummer of the popular band Blink-182. Travis and Kourtney met after Barker had spent some time with the Kardashian crew at her mom Kris Jenner's house in California. Following the official news of their relationship, many fans were quick to comment on the short time between her relationship with Barker and that of her ex-boo, Luka Sabat. According to Kris herself, Travis and Kourtney began flirting while she was still seeing someone. Their connection was so strong from the beginning, but unfortunately that meant the end of one relationship but the start of a new one too. Kourtney appears to be very happy with the Blink-182 drummer, and Luka doesn't seem to have any issues with them being together, so I guess this is a cheating scandal with a happy ending for now. Number 4. Kim and Kanye. Kim Kardashian and Kanye West started dating in 2012 and they were officially married 2 years later in 2014. During their marriage, life was rocky to say the least. While Kim was fairly tame for the most part, as we all know, Kanye was slowly having a mental breakdown. He was posting hate speech and racially fueled tweets and constantly sharing his political views as well as publicly backing Donald Trump. Is it really any surprise that Kim found comfort in another man's arms? While hosting Saturday Night Live in 2021, Kim met Pete Davidson, previously mentioned, while still married to Kanye. Kanye discovered that Kim and Pete began dating following the live show, and it seemed to be the final breaking point. Apparently only a few months before the show, Ye and Kim were constantly arguing about everything. And following the divorce, Kim revealed that she would constantly be trying to help Kanye understand why his views and his words were just so wrong. She wanted him to get better, but instead he doubled down and filed for a divorce. Kim is now happily single and received joint custody of her 4 kids, so it's a win-win for the Kardashian clan, and for Kanye, well, Number 3, Tyga and Kylie Jenner. Michael Ray Stevenson, known professionally as Tyga, is an American rap artist with a long list of bops under his belt. In 2011, he was asked to perform at Kendall Jenner's Sweet 16, and her sister Kylie was smitten. The two would keep in contact over the years, but rumors of them being a couple were shot down constantly until 2012, when he broke off his relationship with fiancée Blac Chyna, also a rap artist. It appeared that the split was due to the revelation that Kylie and Tyga were in fact an item. Tyga looked to Twitter to defend his actions, telling people not to believe the rumors. He's been friends with the family forever, they're all just friends. A year later though, they posted a photo on Halloween of themselves wearing a couple's costume, Chucky and the bride of Chucky. A couple of years went by and the pair were constantly seen together on dates, posted several pictures together on Instagram, and Tyga even bought her a Ferrari on her 18th birthday. They eventually split, and Kylie has moved on a couple of times with her next partner, Party Next Door, who is a person, that is a terrible name, even posting a photo on Instagram comparing his watches to Tyga's and claiming that the more diamonds the better. Alright boys, let's not stand around all day comparing watch sizes. Number 2. Kim Kardashian and Ray J. In this case, Kim was the staff that had the affair. You see, herself and the rap artist shared a 3-year relationship, but they met before Kim was famous while she was working as a stylist for his sister Brandy. At the time they met, Kim was still married to Damon Thomas, but apparently wasn't too happy with the relationship. She took part in an affair with Ray J and called it off with Thomas. During their time together, a certain tape was released online without Kim's permission, and the content contained explicit material of herself and Ray J doing the nasty. She sued the company that released it for $5 million to retrieve the rights and own the film. Following the release of the tape, their relationship quickly crumbled, and it was later revealed that both parties were cheating the entire time. And despite them having the knowledge of that, they just, they didn't care. They just kept doing it. Number 1. Kris Jenner and Robert Kardashian. Mama Kris Jenner met Robert Kardashian at a horse race in California in 1973, and immediately sparks flew. At that time, Kris was in a committed relationship with Cesar Sonato, a pro golfer. He was often gone so long that there were gaps in their relationship, and Robert filled that gap. Kris began an affair with Robert that lasted for quite some time, until one day Cesar returned home early and walked in on the couple doing the no pants dance. Needless to say, Cesar broke it off with Kris right away, but Robert also broke things off with Kris, claiming that she wasn't mature enough for a serious relationship. Yeah, no duh, dude. Robert was basically a mistress. He wasn't much more mature himself. He began dating Elvis Presley's daughter, but that relationship failed too, and Robert ended up returning to Kris's arms. They were married for a little over a decade when Kris proved that she had not matured at all. She took part in another affair, and this time it was with soccer player Todd Waterman. Robert hired private investigators after becoming suspicious of Kris, and he was proven right.
Number 10. Worst of the bunch. Of all the members of the clan, Kendall Jenner has been consistently brought up as simultaneously the most relatable and the meanest. She may take up the most points on this list all by her lonesome. As the first and probably most minor complaint against her, a TikTok video where a fan recalled meeting Kim Kardashian in New York City also happened to throw shade at Kendall at the same time. In the video, the TikToker praised Kim for being, quote, the most polite celebrity I've ever met. Talking about the celebrities that she has met, the TikToker said, quote, including Kendall, who I can't say the same about. It was interesting how when the conversation was about Kendall specifically, the TikToker made note that, quote, Kendall could learn a thing or two. The post made its way to Reddit where other fans joined in on the conversation and their opinions on Kendall. One user wrote, Kendall has always just given me that reserved, wiry, shy but rude kind of vibe on the show. I wasn't sure if that was her in character. There was also one commenter that claimed to not know a single Keeping Up with the Kardashians fan who had a positive experience when meeting Kendall Jenner in real life. And here's an example of that very thing. Number 9, no tip for you. Back in 2014, a waitress accused Kendall Jenner of skipping out on a $60 bill and not leaving a tip. But wait, when the waitress allegedly chased after Kendall Jenner to get the money, Kendall turned around and threw cash in the woman's face and then laughed. It doesn't even sound like real life. The waitress then took to Twitter saying, quote, "That horrible moment when you chase a Kardashian down the street because she forgot to pay her bill to be thrown money in your face." Kendall did respond to the rumors, but by calling them ridiculous, and she then had her lawyers whip up a cease and desist letter to the server. Nothing kinda says guilt like an instant cease and desist letter. I wouldn't know, I'm just thinking that's what it's like. 3 years later though, Kendall was also not a good customer at a bar in Brooklyn when a server posted a since deleted picture of a bill for just $24 that Kendall had signed but left the tip field blank. Now Kendall responded to this one as well, but by saying that she paid it in cash, but the bar accused her of lying. What are your thoughts on tipping? I know that it's one of the main benefits of waiting tables or bartending, so to skip out on that for me is pretty vile. Number 8. Sugar Factory. All those many years ago, back in 2016, Kendall's younger sister, Kylie Jenner, was at the opening of Sugar Factory in Orlando, Florida. For her arrival, Kylie had around 3,000 of her fans waiting for her, only for them to apparently be disappointed. The official press release from Sugar Factory themselves, of course, had almost entirely positive things to say surrounding the opening and Kylie's participation in it, but one publication, Star Magazine, seemed to see things a little differently. Coming from an insider source, the magazine got reports that Kylie's appearance at the opening was actually, quote, "a huge disappointment," and that apparently she was rude to the majority of her fans. Star Magazine stated that apparently the youngest of the Kardashians/Jenners apparently showed up to the event an hour late, and if that weren't bad enough, she only stayed for about 5 minutes to take a few selfies and then just dipped on out of there, leaving fans dissatisfied and disappointed. Number 7. Fitness. For a period of time in like the mid-2010s, Khloe Kardashian was pretty heavily focused on her fitness and getting into shape. Hell yeah, we love living healthily. But going along with that time in her life, Khloe would often post her workouts on social media, specifically Snapchat, for fans to follow along to and get themselves in shape alongside the celebrity. But as usually is the case, there was criticism, and some fans didn't think the videos were all that good. Well, Khloe understandably snapped back on Snapchat in 2017. With the pottiest of potty mouths, she addressed the seemingly impossible to please fans, saying, quote, "What bothers me so much about people is that I'm giving you guys my workouts on my snaps for free." She continued on, quote, "Why the F are you still complaining and saying, if I had a trainer, if I had a gym? Well, I don't have a gym. We're doing everything outside. I'm showing you guys how to do the workouts so you don't need a trainer. I'm using everything that I'm sure you guys have around the house or could improvise. What the F?" To be completely honest, I actually kind of agree with her. To complain that the videos she made out to share her experience and to try and help people who want to work out aren't good enough is kind of just a little rude. But then again, she also said if only complaining burned calories, you guys would be some healthy I can't say the whole of the sentence, but you get what I'm saying? Kinda weighing it out. Number 6. Nobodies. Now, we all need to just sit back and take this one with a little itty tiny bitty grain of salt. When a magazine uses the words insider source, more than half the time, it's just someone off the internet or someone who is not actually an insider, and therefore their statements cannot be taken as fact. It's also worth noting that most people have found Kim to be the nicest person of the family when meeting fans. But, that being said, Kim Kardashian allegedly calls her fans stupid little nobodies. According to Star Magazine, in 2012, an insider source, quote unquote, told the publication that, quote, Kris has text and voicemails from Kim where she calls her audience gullible, ouch, stupid imbeciles, ooh, boring little nobodies, yikes, and pathetic people with no lives of their own. Mic drop. Ouch, my feelings are hurt. I'm not a fan, but my feelings are still hurt. Don't be so rude. If you didn't actually say those things though, I'm sorry. And you're great, Kim. You're a great person. Number 5. Well then, I'm sure that most of us can agree that social media, but specifically Twitter, is a cesspool of meme lords, trolls, and keyboard warriors. You will never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy. Twitter is like a breeding ground for hot takes, upsetting political stances, taking shots at famous people who would never normally give you the time of day, and apparently wannabe sports commentators. Those very same sport fans found a way to both comment on the state of the Cleveland Cavaliers and take shots at Khloe Kardashian in one swift move. One Twitter user tweeted, presumably as a joke, quote, Cavs haven't been playing too well since Khloe Kardashian, just saying. That's because Khloe had been in a toxic as hell relationship with Tristan Thompson, who was playing for the Cleveland Cavaliers. For the record though, it was Tristan that was the toxic one, but in defense of her boo and the team he plays for, Khloe decided to clap back, and in her well-worded rebuttal, Khloe tweeted, quote, "They are #1 in their conference, but thanks for sucking my expletive. Hard enough to think I have that much power. Lick on my expletive while you're at it." I think we can all agree Khloe is truly a wizard of words. A true poet, I think. Very nice. Very good. Number 4, selfie. Last year, Hulu's Victoria's Secret documentary was available for the world to watch, but one clip from the documentary in particular caught some attention, and it was Kendall Jenner, back again, being a true Scorpio. It's a very short clip, but essentially the scene sees Kendall sitting on what looks like a makeup chair with a silk pink robe on, and a group of fans behind her. Basically, Kendall reaches back, takes a phone from one of the fans, snaps a couple selfies, and then hands it back. That's all that happened, but the whole thing was just so funny because, other than the brief moment where she smiled for the selfie, Kendall was not just straight-faced, but she had the stank face on. The one where you really just ain't there to even pretend to be nice to people. That kind of face. I feel like we all know what we're talking about. The fan looked like she was being silently told off when Kendall handed that phone back, and when Kendall turns back to camera with this annoyed eyebrow raise kind of thing, she looks like she wishes she would be anywhere else. Of course, the clip made its way to Twitter where people voiced their thoughts, like this one person who tweeted, quote, "This clip of Kendall from the Hulu Victoria's Secret doc really says a lot about who she probably is." Someone on Reddit added, quote, "That eyebrow raise and look of annoyance is irritating my soul." One more person did make a good point though when they wrote, "It is actually disgusting. They forget that the fans are the reason they have what they have." And that is primarily kinda true, ain't it? Number 3, not in the mood. Now look, being a celebrity, having people wanting to take pictures with you all the time can be very exhausting, and celebrities have every right to say no when they don't want to take pictures with their fans. Point blank. Just as every person is allowed to say they don't want to pose for a picture. In an episode of Kourtney and Khloe Take the Hamptons, Kourtney Kardashian and Scott Disick are off taking a casual ride through his childhood neighborhood in an old convertible. As is bound to happen, a few girls end up noticing them at a stop sign and they ask if they can take a picture with the stars. Scott was all for it, saying sure, but Kourtney quickly follows up with no! And they continued on with their drive through memory lane. Now Scott apologized to the fans saying, "Alright, sorry," she said no, as they drove off, and Scott is like, "That's not very nice," and she explains she simply didn't want to get out of the car and that she's, quote, "not in the mood for a pic." Honestly, fair, she doesn't have to be, but I think she could have maybe been just a wee bit nicer about it. I don't know. What do you think? Number 2, best spot in the shade. Ever been asked to move so a celeb can take a photo shoot where you were comfortably chillin'? Well, a TikToker by the name of Lizudel called out Kim Kardashian for allegedly booting her out of this really chill area at Revolve Festival that was right by a lake with really nice grass, some decent shade, and it had a fire pit. It was a good spot to get, but it was also a great spot for a photo shoot, and that's exactly what Kim wanted it for. The caption in the clip says, quote, "Right before Kim K kicked us out of this shady chill spot at Revolve," with the caption accompanying the clips reading, "Much love to your photo shoot," which is kind of passive aggressive, so obviously the TikToker was a little peeved about it, but to be completely fair, reactions in the comments were pretty mixed. Some folks agreed and thought that it was messed up for Kim Kardashian to ask anyone to move, but others made a good point. Kim was promoting the brand Revolve that were running the festival in the first place, so these fans reasoned that it's fair that Kim gets to choose where she wants the photos taken. One comment read, quote, "Well duh, they invited influencers. Nobody knows who you are. They're gonna make you move." And that actually seemed to make a little bit of sense to a lot of people and to me as well, to be perfectly honest, but at the same time, when an area is available publicly for everyone, being expected to move so that Kim Kardashian can take a photo, it kinda sucks. Number 1, even at the airport. We gotta end the list with Kendall Jenner yet again. I'm so sorry. There are just so many more instances of Kendall being less than great with people as there are for any of the other Kardashians. As part of an ongoing series, a former LAX employee has been taking to TikTok, ranking her experiences with some of the many celebrities she's crossed paths with during her years working at the airport. Kendall Jenner was one of those celebrities, and the TikTok did not paint her in a great picture. The former employee described her interactions with Kendall saying, quote, "Every time she flew out, she was not really friendly to anybody and just walked around like really arrogant." Then she slapped Kendall with a 2 out of 10 rating. 2 is pretty good, right? It's 1 more than 1 and 2 more than 0, so I'd say that's something. This TikTok pretty heavily reminds me of the first and second point on this list. I promise I don't have anything against Kendall, she just seems to be the one who consistently gets called out for being a little unsavory with employees and general people. While it's possible these are just instances of negative experiences staffers had with Kendall, the consistency of the bad experiences, coupled with all that we have seen from Kendall and everyone else, doesn't paint a great picture of her or anyone's character.
Number 10. Grave shopping. Window shopping is not weird. We all love to mindlessly walk around a store that we know well and good we will be purchasing nothing from. But the Kardashian family doesn't go to Hot Topic, or maybe they do. I live in Toronto, I've never seen them. Instead, this family likes to window shop for coffins and grave plots. During an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, momager Kris decided that the best gift she could get for her kids was a nice, comfortable place to keep their lifeless husks tucked away when they pass. Kris and the crew spent the day trying to decide what model of coffin they wanted to purchase, with Kris going so far as to getting into a coffin to see if it was cozy. Hey Kris, if you're trying to get cozy in a coffin, you're still alive! Bang on that lid, man! On top of shopping for physical coffins, she also took the kids on a tour of a graveyard that seemed to boast some pretty stellar plots. There is such a serious conversation over the choice of in the ground or in a mausoleum made of marble. Yeah, which one do you think they picked? Number 9. Mystery meat. Following a brief discussion on the practice of eating the stuff that comes out after we're born, yep, that's a thing apparently, Kim and Kourtney decided to hatch a plot where they would trick their family into thinking they had just eaten placenta. There, I'm only saying it once, from now on it'll be called the stuff. The sisters go through an elaborate preparation and brag to their family about the mystery meat that they had purchased. As the evening went on, they continued to plant the seeds right up until the forks were plunged deep into the meat. Following the meal, they decided that it was the perfect time to tell their family they had just dined on the stuff. Of course, their immediate reaction is disgust and anger at the same time. Don't eat mystery meat, guys, especially if it's cooked by Kim Kardashian. That could be a person for all you know. They let the prank play out for some time, with Caitlyn Jenner almost blowing her chunks all over the table. After a few moments of panic, they let it slip that the meat that they were eating had actually been brisket, but needless to say, Kim's no longer in charge of family dinner night. Number 8. The Pepsi commercial. Sponsored brand deals can mean a lot of money for the people involved. Just look at every cologne on the planet. They hire someone to stand on a beach for them for like 30 seconds and make $1 million. Around 2017, Kendall Jenner decided to partner with the soda brand Pepsi to create a commercial that would act as both an ad and a PSA against hate. The commercial consisted of hundreds of people from different parts of the world drinking Pepsi, and eventually everyone comes together on the streets on what appeared to be New York, I'm not sure. Kendall looks to the crowd, wipes off her makeup, and follows suit. And the cringe comes when the crowd of people appear to be at a standoff with the police. Kendall walks through the crowd and hands an officer a can of Pepsi. He sips it, and the crowd cheers before they swarm the cops, who are suddenly just cool with everything that's going on. The ad was meant to be a political statement following the passing of several African American men and women in the United States, aiming to bring people together, which it did, but for the wrong reasons. The world collectively cringed at this absolute mess, forcing Kendall to drop an apology video on that season's premiere of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. She may have apologized, but we will still never forget this strange brand collaboration. Number 7. The birthday suit shoot. Momager Kris Jenner has been a big part of the family unit for a long time. In fact, she's one of the main reasons that her kids are such good liars. The older we get, the more we clamor for our glory days. With Kris, she decided she wanted to recapture that youthful image in a birthday suit swimsuit at her home. During the episode titled Let It Go, the Kardashian kids enter their backyard only to discover that their mother is taking rather spicy photos in a see-through swimsuit. Not something that anyone wants to see their mom doing. Kris was quick to tell the girls there was nothing nothing wrong with the shoot in that she was simply trying to show off her curves, but her clan wanted none of it and instead let their mother know exactly how they felt. The momager just continues to take photos despite her kids now being present at the home, and at one point Kim literally tells her mom that she's scarring them for life. The moment was more awkward than anything else, but certainly shows just how little regard Kris actually has for her kids. Number 6. Selfie! If you're a Kardashian, any moment is a good photo op, whether it's on a luxurious boat in the Caribbean or in an SUV on the way to jail. Anytime is selfie time. During an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, the crew were on their way to drop Khloe off at prison after she violated her probation. Things in the car were intense, but Kim decided to diffuse the tension by snapping a couple of candid pics of herself and her sisters. The entire ride was filled with cringy moments, including Kris suggesting that they all go get some pre-jail IHOP and chill out. The funniest thing about the moment is that Khloe seems pretty calm and collected considering she's going to jail, while her mother is just furious from start to finish. Needless to say, if your sibling is being arrested, don't take family photos on the way to the prison. Number 5. Shut your mouth. When Scott Disick was still with Kourtney Kardashian, he was a regular wild man on the show. He would regularly get into situations that made him look like the absolute worst, which he was. During one particularly rough moment on the show, Scott was accompanied by the rest of the crew to Las Vegas, Nevada for some wholesome family fun. Nah, I'm just kidding, they drank no-no juice a lot. At one point, Scott becomes so intoxicated that he loses control of his emotions and berates a waiter for simply doing his job. He then proceeds to give him a tip by jamming $100 in his mouth. The waiter pushed back and walks away, which is probably a good move. If Scott Disick shoved $100 in my mouth, well, I'm poor, I'd probably take it and spend it on my hydro bill. Scott is one of the messiest members of the family, despite not being a blood-born Kardashian, but thankfully Kourtney eventually came to her senses and dumped him like yesterday's lunch. Number 4. Kylie's billions. Kylie Jenner made the cover of Forbes magazine in 2019 as the youngest self-made billionaire ever, following the successful partnership between her cosmetic brand and Ulta, which was like a beauty salon company. It turned out that that wasn't actually the case though. Jenner allegedly sold half of her cosmetics company, Kylie Cosmetics, to the beauty giant Coty in a deal worth $1.2 billion. Now this was huge and considered to be one of the greatest celebrity cash outs of all time. But the first rule of being a famous person is, if you can help it, maybe try not to lie, especially to Forbes magazine, who did some digging and revealed that Jenner was actually inflating the size and profit margins of her business. It turns out that the cosmetic brand was actually much smaller than originally thought, and it was uncovered that Jenner only actually made about $314 million after taxes from the company. The revelation was briefly covered on an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, but it was ultimately edited to make the situation look less severe than it actually was. The reality was Kylie was lying about her money, tricking people who wanted to invest, and let's not even start with where her cosmetics come from. It's understaffed factories with non-protective gear. Good luck, Kylie. Number 3. 2020? Who cares? In 2020, while most of the world was shut down and we were all forced to stay in our houses, the rich and powerful were living it up, especially the Kardashian family. Despite the entire world throwing a close sign over their doors, Kim and her sisters decided they cared more about seeing their buddies than saving the world. Kim rented a private island for her 40th birthday, an entire island for about 30 people. Yeah, that makes sense. Kim decided to post photos and videos from the event, which were of course met with immediate backlash. Kim was quick to defend herself by claiming that every person there had stayed inside and away from people for at least 2 weeks. They all tested negative, blah blah blah. In her post, she claimed that the event was to help herself and her friends feel normal during a particularly hard time in history. Hey man, I would've liked to do that too, but I don't have any K's in my name. Not only did Kim throw a lavish private party, but her sister Kendall did the exact same thing, only much worse. Kendall decided it would be an awesome idea to throw a private rooftop Halloween party in Hollywood, California, and invited not 30, but 100 of her closest friends. Again, the crew claimed that everyone attending the event was tested and good to go, but the reality was nobody knows what went down or where they came from. Most of them probably showed up in a helicopter or something. Freaking famous jerks. Number 2, cut the cucumber. Alright, anybody who's ever made a meal has probably chopped a vegetable once or twice. For me, it was only once, never again. For Kendall Jenner, it seems like the answer is she's never done it. During an episode of the latest version of the reality show, The Kardashians, Kendall was shot attempting to cut a cucumber, and I do mean attempting. Like in the footage, she moves her hands around in a weird way that makes her like chop the cucumber backwards. I don't know. This woman has clearly never taken a single cooking class in her life. And I'd like to thank my high school cooking teacher, Mr. Kenzel, for being so good at his job and preventing me from looking like this. Seriously, she was holding the already cut side of the cucumber trying to grip it. Like, just watch one YouTube tutorial. The moment went viral online and she received massive amounts of online hate, with many asking the question why she was trying to make herself a snack. Like, Like, we all know that these people have a literal closet full of chefs waiting to be activated and put into cook mode. Next time, Kendall should just go on Amazon and buy the automatic cucumber slicer for 3 easy payments of $99.99. And at number 1, girls don't work these days. In March 2022, the Kardashian clan were doing a profile for the outlet Variety. When the question was asked, what advice do you have for women aiming to be entrepreneurs? Kim decided to declare that women simply needed to get off their bums and work. Nobody wants to work these days. The tone-deaf statement was met with massive amounts of backlash. Considering Kim comes from a long line of wealthy people, it's no surprise that she would receive such public hate. If I was born rich, I'd probably be telling people to work harder too, but like, Kim gets paid to basically look good and be on TV, that's it. Oh yeah, definitely hard work being done there. Oh, so exhausting.
Kim Kardashian is feuding with one of her sisters again. She's been called out by Khloe with her shady Instagram posts, as the pair have been fighting on the new episode of The Kardashians. Now, in the most recent episode of The Kardashians, the sisters clashed over Khloe's parenting, with Kim suggesting that Khloe's 2 kids rule her life. Now, this came about after Khloe turned down a trip to Paris for Fashion Week because she wanted to be home with her kids. Now, last week's episode also documented their family vacation to Aspen, which took place in January. On the trip, Kim called out Khloe for FaceTiming her daughter during their group dinner. Now, Kim again was annoyed with this. Kim said in a confessional, "Here we go again. She just is so stuck on what's going on at home that she can't have a good time," before later describing Khloe constantly FaceTiming her kids as annoying. Several viewers of the reality show have since called Kim out for shaming Khloe, and fans have actually done the math and figured out that Khloe was seemingly shading Kim on Instagram around the very same time that they were quietly clashing. Now, back in January and February, around the same time as the Aspen trip, Khloe shared multiple quotes that are seemingly aimed at Kim. 20 years from now, the only people who'll remember if you worked late are your kids, one quote read. Raise your children to be impressed by kindness, loyalty, and humility, not just wealth, possessions, and power, read another. Then in 2007, Kim and her then boyfriend, Ray J, tape was leaked online, and it's how Kim rose to fame. Now, Kim sued Vivid Entertainment for ownership of the tape. In late April 2007, Kim dropped the suit and settled for $5 million. Now, the blame was put on Ray J for releasing the video, but after all these years, Ray J maintains his innocence. He said, "I've sat in the shadows for over 14 years, allowing the Kardashians to use my name, to abuse my name, make billions of dollars over a decade and a half, talking about a topic I've never really spoken about. I've never leaked anything. I've never leaked a tape in my life." Now, he claims that Kim and Kris negotiated the release of the tape in the early 2000s. Now, Kris apparently watched 3 different Ray J and Kim and chose to leak the one that gave her daughter a better look. Now, if that's true, that is just gross. Now, Kris Jenner has denied playing a role in getting her daughter tape released, and even took a lie detector test on the James Corden show, but Ray J is still adamant that they did help. Now, looking back, Ray J said he is embarrassed of the tape. Now, Kim's whole relationship with Kris Humphries was something else. They dated for 6 months before they got married. Now, Kris wasn't really into all the fame, but Kim wanted it all. Now, their relationship made them a lot of money. The reality star was paid $1.5 million by people for their wedding photos alone. They also got $30,000 for their engagement announcement and another massive chunk of cash from both her bridal shower and her honeymoon pictures. Not to mention the bonus check they got from airing their wedding on Keeping Up. Now, afterwards though, after 72 days, Kim filed for divorce. Now, Kris felt bamboozled and cited fraud as the reason for wanting an annulment. Kim's paperwork stated irreconcilable differences, and she later discussed the marriage on her show and revealed her mother encouraged her to run on her wedding day if she needed to. Now, following their split, Kris's lawyer told the Los Angeles fraud court that Kim had no intention of proceeding with this marriage. It was basically a tactic for the benefit of her show and to make money. But Jonathan Jackson, who worked with the reality star between 2007 and 2009, said that the pair's union was a publicity stunt. Speaking on Good Day LA back in 2011, Jackson said, 2 weeks prior to her wedding, she knew it was not something she wanted to do. Unfortunately, they were obligated to honor contracts with the E! Network, which had TV rights. Otherwise, they would have owed a lot of people a lot of money. Now, after their divorce and sketchy relationship, Kris expose some of Kim's secrets. Back in 2013, Kris revealed that the proposal for the show was not a surprise and that Kim was aware of it, so the scene where she seemed moved and surprised in is super fake. In fact, Kris went further to say that they had to reshoot the proposal because Kim didn't like her reaction. Kim told Kris how, where, and when to propose. It was absolutely no surprise to her whatsoever, a source told Radar Online. First of all, Kris proposed in the middle of the day, and he had to do that because it would create better lighting to capture the moment. Now, Kim looked surprised but knew it was happening. She was in full hair and makeup, and she's always in on the show. But all of his ideas were shot down by production officials and Kim. Now, another person she got married to was Kanye West. They got married and had 4 children together, and they were happy until things started to go south in 2020. In July 2020, Kanye acknowledged the possibility of Kim ending their marriage, and later that month, he wrote on Twitter that he had been attempting to divorce Kim. Now, he also wrote that the Kardashian family was attempting to lock him up. In January 2021, CNN reported that the couple were discussing divorce, and a month later, Kim filed for divorce, agreeing to joint custody of their children and declining spousal support from each other. The divorce settlement was finalized in November 2022, and after they divorced, Kim dated Pete Davidson, which Kanye did not like, and he took a lot of digs at Pete and Kim. He posted online about it saying, "You are lying and are liars. Y'all basically kidnapped Chicago on her birthday so she couldn't remember her father not being there, so there. Also, I should see my children 100% of the time, but since there's a separation, it should have been 50% of the time. Y'all wouldn't have played with Donda like that in Jesus' name." Now, the Kardashians, for their part, have repeatedly denied Kanye's claims about Chicago's birthday, and after this rant, Khloe commented on Kanye's posts, begging him to please stop tearing Kimberly down, adding that she and her family have had enough of the false birthday narrative. Now, at the 2022 Met Gala, Kim arrived in the iconic Happy Birthday Mr. President Marilyn Monroe dress. Now, Kim said the idea of wearing the late actress's dress felt like the perfect representation of America. She was granted special access to wear it as it is kept in a museum, and people did not like this. They thought it was unfair and in poor taste to take the dress of an icon and have Kim wear it. Now, besides that, Kim revealed that she had to lose 16 pounds in 3 weeks in order to fit into the gown. She said, "It was such a challenge, it was like a role, I was determined to fit in it. I'd wear a sauna suit twice a day, run on the treadmill, completely cut out all sugar and all carbs, and just eat the cleanest veggies and protein. I didn't starve myself, but I was so strict." Following this, many slammed Kim for appearing to promote a toxic and dangerous mindset about body image and weight loss. She said, "To me, it was like, okay, Christian Bale can do it for a movie role and that is acceptable. It's all the same to me. I wasn't saying, hey everyone, why don't you go lose this weight in a short period of time." Now, her losing all that weight in a short period of time, though, really rubbed people the wrong way. And finally, we have Kim's short-lived feud with Khloe Grace Moretz. In July 2016, when Kim had her own celebrity feud going on with Taylor Swift, she posted her supposed proof on Snapchat of Taylor lying, and fans went crazy. This annoyed Khloe Grace Moretz, though, who tweeted, "Everyone in the industry needs to get their heads out of a hole and look around and realize what's actually happening in the real world. Stop wasting your voice on something so petulant and unimportant." Minutes later, jumping to her big sister's defense, Khloe Kardashian responded with a collage of pictures. Now, the first picture was of Khloe Grace at the beach, and the next photo was a photo of an unknown blonde-haired woman who she presumably thought was Khloe in the sea, suffering an embarrassing and revealing bikini mishap. Now, Khloe Kardashian captioned the image, "Is this the hole you're referring to?" at Khloe G. Moretz, and Khloe straight away tweeted back, "Fact check, first photo is me filming my movie Neighbors 2, the second photo is some girl who was wrongly photographed." But this feud didn't end there, though. In 2016, Kim turned heads for sharing a full frontal nude selfie with only black bars to protect her modesty on Twitter. She captioned the photo with, "When you're like, I have nothing to wear, LOL." Then, out of nowhere, Khloe responded to the picture by commenting, "I truly hope you realize how important setting goals are for young women, teaching them we have so much more to offer than just our bodies." Now, Kim didn't take this lying down and replied back, "Let's all welcome at Khloe G. Moretz to Twitter since no one knows who she is. Your nylon cover is cute, boo."